Welcome, totally human listeners, to Neighborhood Watch, a narrative horror podcast set in the RPG world of Hunter, the Vigil. Due to adult language and violent nature of the stories told, this podcast is rated M for mature, and we strongly encourage listener discretion.
Episode 6, Vaccination.
Croxanta sit mihi lux, non draca sit mihi dox, vadarato santana, quanam suad mihi vana, sunt mala, qual libros, ipse venena bibros. Croxanta sit mihi lux, non draca sit mihi dox, vadarato santana, quanam suad mihi vana. May the Holy Cross be my light, qual not the dragon lead me. Step back, Satan, never tempt me with vain things. What you offer me is evil, drink the poison yourself. May the Holy Cross be my light, let not the dragon lead me. Step back, Satan, never tempt me with vain things. What you offer me is evil, drink the poison yourself. There ain't no difference between a trash can and a grave. Grave just don't get as dumped nearly as regularly. When I see graveyards, I'll think of the ghost lady, the one buried and haunting the root cellar on my daddy's property. I wonder if she's still trapped there, screaming and furious with no one to hear her. I wonder if she was so bad. Why did it feel so right when she possessed me, called me beautiful, and gave me hope? My name is Madge Gunthrey. There is a mad doctor named Manga running about beneath my city, trying to gather data on a plague that he's testing and using my city's people as the guinea pigs. There is a mutant made of hundreds of rats at his commands, and it's hot on my tail. There is a legion of men preparing to surround the doctor in his last known location, rather than find out what he's learned. The Union, local hunter battalion, is gonna raise whatever they find, cleanse it with fire. At the head of it all is an ancient Italian priest who wants to make me the next John the Baptist, or Joan of Arc if he can't find the plate. I'm in a rough spot myself. Cracks in my shoulder blade from a bullet, the wound cauterized by a car cigarette lighter. Can't take full breaths no more. Blurriness in my vision coming in patches. None of my contacts able to help me in broad daylight. None, save for the living blasphemy sitting in the passenger seat. No less than a half hour ago, he regrew a new body, and when I blinked, he was wearing a new gray three-piece suit. The face he wears now is neither old nor young, firm nor soft, black nor white. I get more reaction from his sunglasses than I do his expression. This is his first time walking the earth in many years, and the first thing he wants to do, he tells me, is sing.
In my dreams I laugh and smoke.
Of all things, he taps the dashboard, air guitars with gentle, nimble fingers, and laughs every chance he gets. He tells me you gotta mock whoever you can, whenever you can. That your voice is the only freedom you have. He puts his hand over mine on the steering wheel, and I remember the way my hands felt when the ghost lady asked me to drive her to prom.
I walk with Jesus as he walking with me. So hard to tell when everybody's on the same street. Tell you now, I pull aces, he pulls too. Come on now, when I wake up, I don't know what to do.
Pilot, the demon riding shotgun, bites a burner cell phone in half, and he holds the circuits in his mouth. He's eavesdropping on cell phone calls and walkie-talkie conversations among the local union members. They think they've surrounded Dr. Manga, the target of this witch hunt. He's been chased and is laying low on a car lot near Court Square. No one's gonna go in on foot yet, according to Pilot. People keep mentioning the smell of gasoline around the area, and no one can find out where it's leaking from. We park a few blocks away and move in on foot. This is another trap, I say. Bishop Mancini himself said this was where they were cornering Dr. Miker. Now I'm wondering if he planned for me to escape the firehouse. Pilot runs his hand along the inseam of my jacket. I hear a crunch between his fingers, like a bug. The bastards put a tracer on me. Again. Probably hoping I'd lead them to Dr. Miker, since they think I'm so buddy-buddy with him. If they get to him first and kill him off, ain't no way he can use my blood to synthesize a cure for the plague running around. Having no other choice, though, we exit the car and circle the back streets. The parking lot is surrounded by barbed wire, but that's not what's keeping the union members at bay. It's the town-owned vehicles inside, yellow and green taxis, some refurbished zip cars, and buses, covered in tarps until they're needed. A cop car is circling the block, no doubt for surveillance. Pilot says he hasn't heard Bishop Mancini's voice over the phones yet, which means he's handed the whole operation over to the Union itself. He must think he has a greater mission. Men usually do. So now we gotta find out where this snake is hiding. Suddenly, Pilot grabs me by my good shoulder and pulls me into a corner. He puts his body in front of mine, yelling something about a spark plug going off. A yellow school bus crashes through the front gates, spewing smog from its raging backside. As the bus crashes past us, clipping the entire side of a corner bodega, I see that there are bodies, human-shaped bodies tied to the side of the goddamn bus. Pilot wraps his arm around my neck and tells me no. 3 cars race after the bus, completely missing sight of us. The bus clunks down the street, barely keeping straight, shattering a glass bus stop into a spray of crystal shrapnel. Pilot is still holding on to me as he tells me to stop and think. When the bus passed us, there was no screaming. Those ain't live people tied to the side of it. They're corpses. But corpses from where? If that bus crashes, it'll leave a fire, which means a fire engine, which means this is Miker's final move. Spray down a bus full of loaded bacteria bombs, spread the plague into the city sewers, water everywhere becoming the carrier. Now where can a man hiding in the sewers acquire corpses? Pilot, noticing a parked Mercedes-Benz, takes off the tip of his pinky finger, and instead of bone, I see a silver universal key. He opens the Benz, and he taps the passenger seat for me. In moments, we head to where it all began. The cemetery. It's a little before twilight. The sun's already burning like a rusty bulb just above the city bank building, the financial tyrant that overlooks all of Queens. There's frost on the ground in the massive cemetery, but I notice the leaves on the ground are stirring in the distance, all in unison, as if a tide of movement were rolling towards us. I have a bad feeling, and I've been attacked by Templeton often enough to know when the Rat King is in the area. We walk south, toward where 287 passes over the 28-acre parade of stone memorials and debris. Soon as we're far from the front gate, there's a gunshot, and Pilot tosses me behind a mausoleum. Bullets clip the stone corner by my head, and I have to keep down. Pilot strides, slow and deliberate as Judgment Day, towards Bishop Mancini and the armed men around him. I see Pilot raise his hand, and the men's guns launch into the air as if they've been thrown. The bishop holds up a wooden cross the size of a crowbar. The air is thickening, and after 30 feet, I can't make out no more details. Vision's getting blurry. Some clot in my head must be. Something I can't take another Vicodin for. The bishop is praying, chanting, somehow holding back Pilate's approach. I don't know what kind of clash of wills is happening, or which god is on the side of a man like the bishop, but I know I need to help. Another bullet whizzes behind me. I immediately draw my side pistol and click off the safety, but I aim too high, de-winging a granite angel, which lands on somebody's neck. Christ, I can't maneuver myself with my shoulder. I have to roll onto my hip and stand with my good arm. I hobble toward Pilate, whose hands are now arcing with blue lightning. The bolts circle around the bishop like sharks around a fatigued swimmer, but none of them are hitting. As I rush toward Pilate, I finally break my vow to my ex-family, and I draw the Gunthrey on another living human being. It belches when I pull the trigger, and the bishop's entire core rotates as his armor absorbs most of the shot. But it breaks his concentration long enough for the electricity to leap in. The Union hitmen with the bishop hit the ground, and the bishop himself is no more than a 6'3" tall lightning rod now. But there's a scream from behind me. The man who was shooting at me is being dragged onto the sidewalk by a wave of rats. I know the Rat King mutant's here for me, but until the bishop is down, I can't go with him. Pilate pats my shoulder and walks towards the form in bulk. He tells me to let the monsters handle the monsters. He's almost out of my clear vision when I see him fracture like a corrupted file, and wings of dried silicon and copper transistor unfurl from his back. The Rat King forms the bulk of its shoulders and topples over like a deflating raft over Pilate, swallowing his glow. The clink, clink, clink tells me the good bishop is racing away from us. He runs downhill toward the property of waist-high tombstones, heading to the valley where the river runs around it. I'll limp after the blur of movement until I hear the high-caliber shot. Now, a pistol makes a pop once you get used to it. A shotgun roars. A rifle, the kind that go through a deer so quickly it's not even a sport, bellows. Soon as I hear that crack, I go low on my good arm. The shot lodges in a skinny branch tree, and the higher wood groans as it leans over. I'm on my hands and knees, creeping around the tombstones. Need to know where the shots are coming from. I can't see too far, though. Need to crawl. The stabbing in my lungs is branching toward every limb, and my left arm just dangles. Can't make it grip no more. I hear the bishop echoing. He tells me that I will be purged. I tell him I miss the good old days and the good old traditions, like when we used to use Christians as lion chow. Another shot splits a tombstone 2 plots from mine, and I crawl forward, biting my lip. The bishop yells again. He says he could smell the devil's taint on me the moment we met. He tells me I'm damned for the company I keep. I think he sounds an awful lot like my daddy. Then the pain flares up my arm, stabs me in the neck, and my vision goes wide along the sides. I try to shake it off, but I hit my head on a tombstone, and the white patches are growing, blackening. I can't white out now. Stupid. I need to get to the pain. My painkillers ain't gonna relieve it fast enough, and they're out of reach with my dead arm. Gotta go against what my body wants to do. Gotta rely on a higher power. Fortunately, I carry one at all times. I fire the Gunthrey into the air. The sound booms apart the frozen sky. The chamber spews a greasy black smoke, and the frost on the ground spreads away in a circle behind me. Another shot, and the recoil gets nasty. Another shot, and I feel the handle bite into my hand again. It knows I'm not firing for blood, and it hates shooting blanks. I roll onto my ass and move my arm up. Mancini stands, his armor somehow glowing, and his rifle shining with a fierce yellow light even I can see. Some fucking benedictions passed down from the original 12, channeling God's wrath. To think, of all outdated things, the patriarchy is still around. I fired the Gunthrey again. Can't hear nothing around me no more. Nothing but my own heart and a screaming for blood. Pilot was right. Gotta let the monsters fight each other out. So I make my body stand, and I let the Gunthrey take over for me. It makes me run forward. It makes me take aim right at the bishop's face. Every shot is being ricocheted away by a white spark, but the shield of light is getting weaker with each hit. The bishop tosses his rifle down and pulls out a thick, short sword, and it sings when it's unsheathed. He tells me I'm already out of bullets. That ain't never stopped the Gunthrey before. The Gunthrey fires an empty chamber, and fire sprays onto my arm and near my face, but also launches onto the bishop. He closes his eyes, giving me a chance to close the distance between us. He steps forward and swings the sword like a goddamn gladiator. It's not me moving my arm, but I block his downward swing with the Gunthrey. He tells me I'm stupid for bringing an empty gun to a knife fight. I tell him I didn't bring a gun. I brought the Gunthrey. His sword is shaving into my gun, slicing in, but the cut in the metal of the barrel is leaking a thin silver oil. Like an exposed artery, the silver oil sprays onto the bishop's face, and I crack the butt of the handle into his nose. As the bishop hits the ground, he drops his sword. He asks me what I am. I tell him the truth. I tell him I'm mad as hell. I kick him square in his perfect teeth and Harrison Ford's square jaw, and he's out of the fight. Adrenaline's wearing off, though. My vision's going white around the edges again, quicker this time. Each breath is a knitting needle in the chest. Then I see something sprint. There's an orange cat, crest of the road before it dips down onto the overpass. I breathe in what I can, and I stumble after it. The orange cat leads me toward the concrete archway, and standing in the middle is a man wearing a gas mask, firefighter's uniform, and a gas tank strapped to his back. Christ, no, don't let me white out now. Gas mask is holding a vial. Gotta be ready. I take off my jacket. I holster the Gunthrey, which is like letting go of a sinking car beneath icy waves. I roll up my sleeve, showing the cut along my arm. Is this what you need? I ask him. Can you make a cure using my blood? I never got the black boils, nothing, but they're spreading in the neighborhood. I don't care where your loyalties lie neither. If you need my blood to cure anybody, take it. The man unbuckles a clip strap up beneath his mask. Then, like peeling off wet dough, he removes the gas mask. The face is skinny, pale, with tiny crooked teeth that look like burnt corn kernels. He's got a patch of black boils round his hairline, tiny, but he produces a large needle and rolls my arm over. I barely feel the needle, despite it having the radius of a lawn dart. The doctor considers the sample. He thanks me, then pockets my blood, saying he'll need it for the lab. And then what? I managed to mumble.
Then?
He says,
My antibodies save hundreds of people. Spirit sickness, lycanthrope attacks, the addictive properties of vampire blood. Who knows? You're an amazing woman, Madge Gunthrey. You've done good.
He takes the blood from my arm, and he sits me down against the concrete underpass. Already dark across the cemetery. Nothing of daylight but muted steel blue under the clouds with streaks of watered-down pink. Dr. Meiker says the gunshots have alerted officers who aren't on the union's payroll, and a news van is approaching. He says he can't take me into the sewers or the water plant, that I'd slow him down. And he says this is where we part. There are dots in my eyes, like white circles, blocking out the doctor's face. I mumble goodbye to my boy, Charles. One more time. I cough up some blood. I close my eyes, and the lights go out.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
A phone is ringing. Opens the eyes, turns the head, finds most of the body restrained by bandages. Standing above, a head haloed by a hanging halogen bulb, is someone with strands of long, stringy dark hair. He reaches a hand and softly touches face. My face? Mine? Who am I?
The winged gentleman in the gray suit who carried you here sends his condolences. He was reluctant to leave you. Little bolt from his hand restarted your heart, believe it or not. He sends his regards, and the spirits tell me he's heading west. I'm sorry, I'm bombarding you with words you can't follow yet.
Who am I?
That doesn't matter anymore. That was then. This is now. You're a fiery individual, though I wanted to preserve that inner flame. In a way, I have. This way, you can continue your work.
Don't understand.
It took me a century to understand it myself. To complete my great work. The spirits will come for you, as they did for me. They'll pull you apart, as they did for me. But you'll heal, as I have done for you. Good luck, friend. Be patient and gentle with humanity along your pilgrimage. They are driven, they're angry, they're strange, but I believe they're worth protecting. They're worth joining.
There are deep, thunking steps, and a door closes. A coldness over the hand. Looks down toward the cold. Sees something. A frosted blue glow. A flow of hair. A flowing sundress manifests amid the glow. A soft, cold face. A ghost lady holds the hand. Sides of her mouth turn up in a cold smile. She pets the hand. She wraps her hand around it. She begins to pull.
Neighborhood Watch is part of the Chroniclers of Darkness. It is written by Uncle Yo and produced by Jimmy Lin. Original music produced by Jimmy Lin. Excerpts from the album Hexed used with permission from Anders Manga. Special thanks as always to White Wolf Publishing and Onyx Path Publishing for giving us a whole new world of darkness. Without you, our paranoia wouldn't be nearly as charming. What was that scratch? Okay, it's gone. Comments, questions, extra scrap silver laying around you'd like to donate? Leave a like, share, or a positive review on iTunes. Or join our doomed cause on our Facebook page at facebook.com/UncleYo. This podcast is supported by patrons like you at patreon.com/UncleYo. So check us out and help fuel the vigil. because the nights are getting longer. Game on. Include everyone, and remember that death is more likely than retirement. But at least you won't face retirement alone.